like you are in great hands with showrunner Leslie Headland. How much of that fan fiction she wrote as a kid do you think inspired what actually ends up on screen in The Acolyte?
I don't know. But the next thing that I'm going to do is ask Leslie for the fan fiction that she wrote as a kid.
Oh no, The Acolyte got canceled. Oh, ay Dios mío.
Anyways.
Bruh, when I heard this, I was honestly indifferent. And number two, I wasn't surprised. The show sucked so hard. But on the other hand, I was kind of surprised because usually when they have bad shows like this, they keep milking them for all their worth. Velma. Anyway, Disney seems to like beating dead horses in the water long after the said horses have already drowned. Nobody liked The Acolyte. Okay, maybe there are a few fringe people, but usually when a show gets canceled, it's because there aren't enough eyes on it, or it's not doing well, or people just click out. I love how people on Twitter were so ready to go after those criticizing the show for the plethora of faults that it had a lot of, and they'd be so happy to claim that the show is doing well or that people wanted to see it and we're just hating for no reason, you know, because you're on the hate train, grifters, blah, 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 etc. Or probably arguing that we're not the majority. Well, the fact that The Acolyte was canceled doesn't seem to correlate with the notion that people liked it or in general wanted to see it. Let's be real. As much as I loved Raised by Wolves, and I know I have said this to death in several videos, but in case this is the first video that people are watching, first of all, I'm sorry. I get passionate when I speak. But second of all, yeah, not a lot of people knew about Raised by Wolves. Like, there are people that found out after it was canceled that it was a show that existed, and they're like, damn it, I would have loved to have watched that show. But so the show was canceled regardless of being good. Lucifer at some point was canceled regardless of being good. And here's what drives me wild. You have people saying things like this, right? And it's not just articles, it's just regular or unhinged people on Twitter. And suddenly, when the show is canceled, they somehow make it about people being bigots and toxic internet hate. Case in point, there's this gem of an article called Disney Plus cancels the first Star Wars show made by a lesbian. Here's why that sucks.
You need therapy!
Where the author goes on this utterly detached from reality rant about why they think the show was canceled. So this portion says, I feel like we've been here before. The latest Star Wars drops. It's new, maybe a tad more challenging than your standard adventure in the galaxy far, far away, and happens to center on women and POC characters. Stop saying people of color. You're literally just saying colored people. Fucking A. Anyway, a population of online nerds lose their collective shit as a result of that last bit. Oh boy, here we go. Sure, they may claim that they have legitimate criticisms, but the hate seems pretty damn loud to just be the usual frustration with a flawed franchise entry. Anyways, Lucasfilm and their Sith masters, the Walt Disney Corporation, panic and course correct, pivoting to a safe and familiar follow-up, which ends up sucking major bantha poodoo.
You cannot be serious.
Anyway, word on the street this week is that Lucasfilm has pulled the plug on The Acolyte, just a little over a month after its first and now only season concluded. It's a beyond disappointing decision, not only for the fans of the series and its characters, no it's not, but also for how it speaks to the way major corporations like Disney decide what sort of stories they want to tell. Regardless of how you shake it, the Star Wars show is produced by a lesbian, had a non-binary lead, and cast of queer and POC colored people, performers, and a narrative that didn't rely solely on nostalgia and brand recognition, and was given the axe, and that just sucks.
Does it though?
Oh, sweetheart. Would you like a cup of tea? The fact that you're so fixated on the characters being queer as the main selling point just might explain why people could care less. If that's all you have to offer, if that's the only thing that you're taking away from this entire ordeal and the story, then honey, the story's probably fucking ass. I like how these people lose their collective minds, but then they have like this weird sense of confirmation bias, because if you look at all the other shows that feature queer people, where the stories were still decent or enjoyable and didn't get canceled, oh, mum's the word on those. What? Those don't exist. They look at shows that got canceled that didn't have queer people in them, or didn't make the entire identity about that in the marketing or in the show itself, and mum's the word on those too. And it's like pulling the race card or the trans card anytime someone does something wrong and they just happen to identify as one of those things. And oh my God, heaven forbid forbid you criticize them. Oh my God, this person went after a child. Like, they're a monster. They ate people's skin. Like, they took babies and filleted them, cooked them in the oven, and like had them as pork roast, and then laughed in the face of the parents when they still were chewing on the freaking baby's flesh. And you're like, you fucking monster. And here you have the community saying, you misgendered them. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know what is going on with the world nowadays. Like, someone needs to come out and say this shit because it is so freaking wild. Everybody just hides behind this identity like it's some kind of magical shield against any wrongdoing or criticism. People have been criticizing people from the dawn of time. Don't have to agree on everything. And if you're so dysfunctional that you spiral when a genuinely awful show gets canceled, convinced that it's all part of some grand conspiracy against lesbians, then darling, you might need a fucking therapist. Honestly, it sounds like some PTSD or schizophrenia level paranoia where you think everyone's out to get you. Like, it's not a healthy way to look at the world. And it's not an adult way to look at the world. It means you're a little cowardly, poor infantile creature who sees everything as super scary. And everyone's trying to eat you. And it's because of this. Oh my God, I stole from that store. Oh my God, I slept with that woman's husband and she slapped me. She doesn't like that I'm a lesbian. Oh, what? And yes, I am aware of what I said there. That's how ridiculous it sounds. And on top of that, it also shows that you're the type that runs from accountability or is okay with people not taking accountability, unless they're white and men. Let's just be real here. That's the only narrative I see being spun with these articles. You think The Acolyte is the first show that featured minorities and queer people? Are you fucking stupid? Like, I don't even care if I sound fucking harsh. I'm literally trying, like, okay, I'm gonna keep a bucket with you guys. I'm going through a lot of personal shit right now with my family. Okay, I have a lot of fucking stress. And maybe I shouldn't have made the video at this point in time, but I did. And we're here, okay? I don't care. But I genuinely don't like fucking stupidity. And when I'm actively going through shit and then I see it, the filter just comes off. Because it's fucking stupid. I swear to God. Like, you ever just see some people in the real world and they say some shit and you just stare at them with your mouth fucking open because you're waiting for the punchline. Because in your mind, you're thinking it ain't no way. Ain't no way someone this fucking dumb exists. I don't know if these people are just trying to cry for attention by being perpetually stupid and making it seem like they don't know what's going on in the world, but it's not giving. If a lesbian makes a show and it sucks, it just sucks. If a straight person makes a show and it sucks, it sucks. It's really that simple. Go get laid or something. Because if all you can think about is that, then good Lord, you need to fucking go outside. Bitch, they make toys for that. Get railed or something. Stick it on the wall. They have the freaking suction cups things. If you can't get laid, make the wall your freaking friend and just back that shit up on that wall, bro. You need to get it out or something, or man, or whatever. And I like how they say that, oh, it didn't rely on nostalgia. The entire show literally did exactly that. Let's be real. If the show did not have Star Wars name slapped on it, not a single soul would give it a second glance. The entire show was a nostalgia cash grab, dumbass. Anyway, this part of the article goes into saying, oh Lord, why did I read ahead? Okay, God. Anyway, it's almost impossible not to read this decision as a response to the overblown and bigoted reaction this series received from the worst corners of the internet. You would know, you're probably lurking them all the time, which is why you would see more of that. But anyway, review bombed to hell and back from the moment that its first trailer dropped. The Prejudiced, directed at Acolyte, never appeared remotely rational or proportional to the supposed sins the series had committed. Bitch. Sorry. Some of the infamous and unbelievably mind-numbing complaints hurled at the series concerned a fire on a spaceship and the birthday for that one Jedi whose head kind of looks like a dick. Wow, you can even bother to say his name? You seem to know so much about it, but you didn't. Never mind, whatever. This isn't to say that there aren't legitimate criticisms to make about the Acolyte as a series, particularly in regard to its overall narrative pacing and occasionally clunky direction, but I could make the same observation about pretty much every single one of Disney Plus's shows, Star Wars or not. Yes, and people have done that with those as well. You fucking breast eater. Let me calm down. The Acolyte was a good, sometimes great show. Sorry. that was starting to find its footing by the time its 8th episode season reached its end. It was by no means the sort of catastrophe that the 18% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes would lead you to believe, okay, so the majority of people are wrong. So if you then admit there could be legitimate criticism, you literally just said that in the paragraph, then why are you not listing them? Why are you completely throwing them out? The show didn't find its footing. Oh my God, how sad. Tough. Oh, so it didn't grab people's attention, and now we're shocked that no one was interested? It marketed itself as something that it wasn't. Oh my God, people didn't want to watch it based on the marketing? What a groundbreaking revelation. Why are we even wasting time on this shit? Oh my God, why am I wasting time on this? But no, let's go ahead and vilify all of us people for not liking it. The internet is gonna do what it do. Mock the hell out of things that deserve it. And guess what? If the majority of people who aren't terminally online like you don't want to watch it, then surprised. Zeus's cheeks be clapped. Oh! And be damned. It ain't getting watched. Also, you make everything about bigots and internalizing this and that and POC and blah, 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 which means that you obviously have some psychological things that are going on that you need to take care of. You're completely dismissing the legitimate criticisms all of us had. Well, the one criticism I would give people like this is go get therapy. Get therapy, because you clearly see everything through this lens. People have the legitimate criticisms that you choose to ignore, and you see that the majority of people, maybe 70 to 80% of people didn't like it. You see via the ratings that the show isn't getting watched because people aren't interested. And your takeaway is, oh, they don't like lesbians.
That's because you're unwell.
Most of us laughed at The Acolyte and called it stupid because the writers, or lack thereof, were not doing their job. Or it seemed like they were trying to make it bad on purpose, and we didn't respect it. I went into detail. I did an episode by episode of what I didn't like about it. I even said some things that I did like, which weren't that much. And I think that Manny was one of the only things that saved it, because people were like, oh my God, he's hot. You know, and sure, why not? But if I wasn't having fun reviewing it and making fun of it, which I didn't feel like at the time, because at times it made me so mad, the show wouldn't even have been watched by me. I wouldn't even have picked it up. I'm just being honest. The first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian had its issues too, but we still liked it for the most part. And I'm pretty sure that featured queer people and people who weren't white. Same with The Last of Us. Like, that is the only justification for a show being good nowadays, which ironically is the complete opposite, because if that's all people care about, it shows in your story. Oh my God, do you have a good story? No, but at least the characters are lesbian. Okay. What is this, X videos? That seems to be for that. If you want to make videos for that with no story and just people's identity or sexual orientation, this isn't the place for it. We have hubs for that. Did you not know that? You seem to live on the darkest corners of the internet, so I would assume you would know things like that. What are you, consuming 4chan every day? It's almost as though when you put that whole thing as the identity and marketing of your movie, it fails because you don't actually care about the story or the actual characters. And you know that's the case because the one thing that this person locks onto is lesbians, colored people, which is what they said. That's what people of color means. I'm gonna keep dying on that hill over and over again. What else? Non-binary and yeah, all of those buzzwords. Oh my God, this is what people are, gender, dick, vagina, like that. Are you? Damn. My brain is dissolving right now. I'm so done. People need to freaking grow up, man. Your show doesn't do well, and the first thing you do is blame people who didn't like it and claim it's because people don't like queer. Let me ask you something, right? If you loved it so much, why didn't you start like an alternative to GoFundMe or get a whole bunch of people to watch or financially support it? I'm sure there are people in this author's friend group that probably like this show. Maybe more than enough. What's the matter? Oh, it's almost like you couldn't find enough people even in your friend group that would like this enough to keep it afloat. Bitch, not even minorities and queer people were watching this fucking show, so why are you blaming the supposed bigots? You've got this whole community of queer and non-binary people, right? So where were they when this masterpiece needed saving? Oh, that's right. They were busy not watching it, just like everybody else. But let's pretend it's all the fault of the evil bigots lurking in the shadows that are out to get ya. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of queer actors and directors or people out there who said that if you don't like something, or you don't like queerness being shoved in the face of the fans when they make that the entire identity of something and you don't have to watch it and they would rather you not watch it. Isn't that what a lot of them even say? And then when the people don't fucking watch it, you get mad at them for not watching it? The fuck? Even if people left bad reviews, the ratings are based on who is actively watching the show, you dumbass. I'm sorry, but I don't respect anyone who has this line of thinking and then name calls people. So you name call me, you name call people that don't agree with you, we're gonna name call back. We don't have your line of thinking. We weren't coming after you. We just said we don't personally like it. And then you wanna name call us because we didn't like something that you liked, that you didn't even show enough support for? Fuck all the way off. And all you have to do is look at the latest posts of this article to tell the kind of mindset surrounding this entire medium. If your identity, your entire identity is wrapped up in what's between your fucking legs, or whether you choose to suck lollipops or lick flaps, then no wonder you're seeing the world through such a narrow lens. It's exhausting. And I know this is shocking, but most people aren't about that life. They don't fucking care. They just want to go about and live their life. Who cares? 15 years ago, I could bet people didn't really seem to care about bedroom activities or who you were attracted to. We had gotten to the point where people liked what they liked. And if you had a job in Hollywood and you happened to be gay, that's fine. A movie is not the place for activism. And when you're marketing a movie that has nothing to do with activism, it's not the place for activism. When you're telling a story that has nothing to do with queerness, then stop marketing it as being queer.
There was just something about the relationship between the sisters, of being between two sisters and not a heterosexual relationship. Like it just destroyed me completely. And I thought, gosh, I would love to make something like this that is, for lack of a better term, Disney, meaning it's something that like my parents would have allowed me to see when I was younger as a queer person.
Gotcha.
But I would have been able to understand as a queer person. And I think I would have had a completely different life.
Even queer people weren't down with that shit. And when Leslie Headland joked or trolled and said,
arguably the gayest Star Wars, I think, by a considerable margin. And are you racing yourself?
Star Wars. Not the
It's pretty gay, let's be honest. How do you feel?
Am I gay? Yes.
Well, no,
Like, are y'all okay? Or
a talking point.
Is it going to be a talking point?
I'm sure some.
Because nerds are gay.
Well,
Yeah,
well, some.
I think so. And yet people have told me that it's the gayest Star Wars, and I frankly
You're offended?
into it. No.
I think that Star Wars is so gay already.
Okay.
I mean, have you seen the fits? We'd be like, look how gay this is, and then send each other a reference photo.
And are you telling me with a straight face that C-3PO is straight?
They're a couple. That's what I think. But
even gay people were like, yeah, I'm not interested in that. Not in Star Wars. If I want to go watch a gay movie, then there are a lot of other things I can choose from, but Star Wars ain't one of those things. It's not rocket science. No matter how many times you say the word bigot, online trolls, review bomb, toxicity, we don't fucking care. All you serve to do is turn people against you, laugh at you, and not take you seriously. You're throwing a proverbial tantrum over this, and all it ends up earning you is our utmost disrespect and our heartfelt highest level of fuck you. The show was axed. The end. It's canceled. Finito. There were other shows that were legitimately good, and they were canceled too. The end. Grow the fuck up.
I think that Star Wars is so gay already.
okay.
We were in the best hands.
But